40.
All right, let's get right to it. Joined by our special guest today. You all know him. Come on. Doug Christie, DC, is with us. He's on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. DC, thanks for joining us as always, my friend. If you guys want to make sure we pop him on there, make sure we can hear DC when we ask him. There we go. DC, we appreciate you. Let's start talking about Keegan Murray. Offensively, DC, he has struggled the last two games. Your thoughts on what you've seen from him recently?
You know, what Keegan is going to start doing, guys, is he's going to start getting a lot of different looks. Players are going to play him different. They're going to be more physical. They're going to send him to the pick. They're going to blitz him sometimes. You're going to start getting a lot of different looks. So for a rookie, there is going to be a bit of up and down, but I don't worry about him at all. The kid's a hard worker. He studies, he watches film, he understands what's going on in front of him. Making and missing shots isn't a big deal. He's already demonstrated that he can shoot at a really high level. So not worried about Keegan at all.
Yeah, he already has the reputation for being steady and even and not letting things get him too high or too low. No signs of any crack in that so far, Doug.
One more time? You broke up on me. Sorry.
I said he's already has the reputation of being steady and even and not letting anything getting him too up or too down. There hasn't been any signs of any cracks in that reputation that he has. Nah,
he still is always, man. Still waters run deep. I tell you, he's a joy. He's a joy to be around. He's a joy to coach. I love ribbing him and messing with him, but more than anything, like, for a coach at any level, a player who comes in, works extremely hard, wants to get better, wants to study, puts the team first, like all those attributes, they describe Keegan. So it makes it easy to coach him, to be honest with you.
Doug Christie is with us here, Cattles and Rami, Sactown Sports. Doug, I thought Malik Monk was terrific on Wednesday coming off of the bench, and he told Rami and I at Media Day that his playmaking gets overlooked. What I wanted to ask you was, how do you make sure that Monk's ability to be that playmaker off the bench doesn't necessarily stunt Davion Mitchell's growth as being a guy who can create for his teammates?
To be honest, I think that's easy because offensively, the offense isn't predicated on like the point guard handling the ball. It has the ability to have the ball at the top with Domas, and the ball comes back to Davion. It'll hit Malik on the wing. I really think, to be honest with you, the more playmakers, the more people that you have that can create and do things, it really helps the offense more than anything. So Malik's ability to pass the ball and create is something that I didn't know at that level. I've seen him play. I've seen him in college. But to watch him on a day-to-day basis, some of the pocket passes, some of the spray passes that he's making are big time. So I really think that it's going to help Davion's growth because at times when they start to play him differently because they're seeing they can't keep him in front, maybe we need to blitz him on the pick and roll. Now he can get off the basketball and let somebody else do it.
We saw Domas's probably best game in the loss against Miami a couple nights ago, and not just on the offensive side, but on the defensive side. No fouls for an entire half. I don't know how many he ended up finishing with. Was it something he was doing differently defensively, or was it just the referees giving him a little bit more leeway to work?
Well, you trying to give me fine? To be honest with you, more than anything, I work with Domas, so I go back and I look at the film and I get all the clips and we sit down and watch them. Probably not too many for him. He's probably like, "Will you put that thing away already?" But more than anything, I would say he got some bad breaks. Some really bad breaks. I thought that there were a couple sail calls that the guy kind of threw his head back, and all of a sudden they blow the whistle. I didn't think it was a call. If he stays physical and true to who he is on the defensive end, the refs will get used to how he's playing, and we need to do it as a team. I think just the aggressiveness and physicality on the defensive end of the floor, if that's how you play, the refs begin to ref your team that way.
Doug Christie is with us here on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach, speaking of Domas, watching this team offensively, the dribble handoffs between he and Kevin Huerter, the two-man game between those two guys has been almost unstoppable. What makes those two guys work so well together and make them so deadly?
Well, first of all, you got two willing participants. So neither one of them is really looking to score the basketball. It's not about them scoring. It's about us as Sacramento Kings scoring. So that in and of itself makes them more deadly because the defensive players have to guard everybody. They can't just lock in on one of them. The next part is the ability for Kevin Huerter to shoot the ball at a high clip. So they're away from the floor. If he passes the ball to Domas sets his guy up. Now he's coming off on the wing, and as he's coming around the screen, they have to be hypersensitive to the fact that he can shoot the basketball. So if they don't, Domas just kicks it to him. He shoots it. He's shooting like 50% from behind the line right now. He's knocking it down. If they go more towards Kevin, Domas has the ability to fake a handoff and get downhill and finish at the basket, or he'll spray it out to somebody else. So when you put those pieces together, they really work well. And I think they understand also, and this is ultimately what you want your whole team to do, understand that we need each other and we need to play off each other's strengths. And they do it. They're just at a really high level right now.
You know, I want to go back to something you just said about the whole team needing to play a certain style of defense and officiating getting used to it around the league. After the game in Miami, Coach Brown not pleased with the officiating and let people know about it and talked about the way the Kings are officiated and essentially said teams or people look at the Kings across the front of the jersey and almost expect this team to lose, and refs ref the game that way. Is that something you've noticed in your time wearing that uniform and now on the sideline watching this team?
You know, from the time where I first came back to Sacramento and from the time with Jay and Chris in the studio there with you, and they watched me every day, I always said, it's funny until you start beating the hell out of people. That's just how it goes. So you're gonna have to take the bumps and bruises and the lumps until you draw a line in the sand, dig your feet in, and begin to do the things that we're doing. Now, the process of getting to the point where people put respect on your name, that takes a while. The reason that it takes a while is because, like I said, you got to start beating people. And once you do, and we will, when that happens, all of a sudden those things, and I believe, because I don't really do social media and all that, so I didn't see Coach's comments, but just hearing what you said, I'm totally with him 100%. It's like, oh, the Kings. Well, there was a time when it was like, oh, the Kings.
Right.
And it's just a difference in the way I'm saying the same words, but I'm saying them in a different way. That's okay. It'll change, but we have to continue to do the things that we're doing to make it happen.
Coach, last one for you, and again, thanks for the time. Statistically, the team's had some real issues against the pick-and-roll ball handler. Analytically, it hasn't gone well for you guys. What do you need to do differently there to be more effective?
Well, first thing is pickup point is what I always say. When I see a guy dribbling freely like he's on his way to the park and he's about to cross the street with the ball and nobody's by him, that's a problem. So the pressure on the ball and the pickup point on the ball is imperative. And then making sure that you're up to the screen if you're a big and it's a chain reaction. So the big is up to the screen. That leaves his guy the ability to slip. Well, if he's thinking about his guy slipping, now he's not up to the level of the screen. So that softens it up, and all of a sudden they're able to come off and knock down shots. If he is up to the level of the screen and his guy slips, he has to have the confidence that the backside is going to take care of him, and everyone is in their position and everyone does their job. So if one guy does his job, that should lead to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy. And then by the time you get to the fifth option, which most teams don't, we're in a scramble situation. The clock is getting low, and we'll live with that.
Coach, thanks. We appreciate it, DC. We'll do this again soon. Always love talking to you. And safe travels on the way back, and pick up a W tomorrow in Orlando.
All love. Appreciate you guys. Go Kings.
Thank you. There goes Doug Christie, DC, Folsom Lake Honda Hotline, Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And, it's going to be interesting.